Give it all you got.
Coming up on football tonight, it's an MEC showdown out in Cameron. The Dragons hosting Lafayette. A top 10 showdown in Class 1 down in Gower. East Buchanan hosting top-ranked Mid-Buchanan. Which team will come away still unbeaten? And it's homecoming over at Bishop LeBlond. The Golden Eagles going for their second consecutive win. All that and much more coming up on football tonight.
Well, welcome into football tonight. Thank you very much for staying up a little bit later with us tonight. I'm Chris Roush and Adam Orduna. It's hard to believe we're in week 7 after just 2 more weeks. We're in district play and we can get into the heart of the postseason.
That's right, Chris. 2 weeks in a row of late football tonight. Can you believe that? And we are right on the cusp of the playoffs, just like you said. Well, let's get to some of these games.
And we're going to start tonight because Central game got canceled with Smithville tonight. We start the middle of the Empire Conference, Lafayette and Cameron. Here we go. Irish kickoff. Tanner Riley back to return. He goes up the sideline, cutting back to the middle, and he will go all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Dragons up 14-13 at this point in Lafayette. This one back and forth to the very end of this ball game tonight. Here we go. The Fighting Irish looking to answer, though. Darren Saunders getting it done here out of the gun. Gets a snap looking deep down the field for a wide open Mackay Reed, and he is in the end zone. Irish take back the lead 20-14. It's a 6-point ball game at this point. But the Dragons back with the ball. Here we go. They're marching down the field. And Cameron, they turn to Dominic Hirsch. Gets the handoff, finds a hole, dives for the end zone. But he is ruled down at the 1-yard line, just short. That's close. A few plays later, Ty Spear takes a snap, powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Cameron ends up pulling this loss tonight on their home field, 34-33.
Nice game there. Well, in Kansas City, the Benton Cardinals back on the field after a couple of COVID issues for the last couple of weeks, taking on St. Pius. We'll start right before the half. Pius is up 33-0 and are throwing the football. And it's picked off by Bryson Brown, and Benton not going away just yet. On the ensuing drive for the Cardinals, Tyler Murphy throws up the Hail Mary, and it will be picked off by Jack Mosh for St. Pius. He decides to return it. He cuts back across the field, has some blockers ahead of him, and he will take it the distance. That's an 80-yard pick six for the Warriors. Not at all what Benton wanted before the half. Now head coach Kevin Keaton for the Cardinals, wanting something good to go here in the second half. And this is a good start. Here's a pick six for the Cardinals. Big D lineman Diego Barron gets his hands on the football. That's a touchdown for Benton. Looking good to get things going. Pius, though, would answer right back. Mosh will roll out, finds Aiden Coons in the end zone for a touchdown. Benton loses tonight 47-7.
Head back over to Chillicothe 36 Highway for the Hornets hosting Savannah tonight. Hornets with the ball here. Gage Leamer drops back, finds Tucker Wager. He picks up a few yards before being brought down. Hornets forced to punt Savannah in their own territory. Evan Young gets the handoff, finds a hole, cuts it back up the middle. Gets a big game for being finally brought down by the Hornets defense. Takes quite a few tries by Chillicothe to do so. I think about 3 or 4 guys to finally bring him down. Savannah goes on to tries a field goal, but it's no good. Savannah then back in the red zone. Young gets the handoff once again, powers into the end zone, take a 7-0 lead. Savannah goes on to win this one tonight by 29-37-8.
Well, back in Kansas City, where Maryville makes a trip to take on Lincoln Prep in a non-conference showdown here. We will go right before the half. Maryville has a 14-3 lead and marching. Here's a pass from Connor Drake to Caleb Kreisinger in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Great grab by Kreisinger, keeps his feet in bounds and is able to control it. It was close, but the refs say it's good. Lincoln Prep fans getting a little antsy, hoping for something good to happen in the second half. Tigers fans wouldn't have to wait long because Lincoln Prep would drive down, and big number 9, Howard Brown, rumbles in, gets upended. The ball comes out. The refs say, hey, it's a touchdown. Blue Fountain head coach Matt Webb wanting his guys to calm down and get started back up. And that's exactly what happens. Maryville uses the ground game to hand it to Connor Weiss, who breaks a tackle. Maryville gets the big win tonight, 49-10.
As Maryville gets that win down in Kansas City, Maryville Forum Sports Editor John Dykstra joining us. And John, quite the victory for Maryville tonight, getting in that win column. First, initial thoughts from the Spoofhounds' victory over Lincoln Prep tonight.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a continuation of last week. I know Coach Matt Webb was very pleased with the way they played against Odessa last week in that quickly scheduled game that ended up being a loss, but it was a good performance. And yeah, they just ran right through Lincoln Prep this week, who's the number 5 ranked team in Class 4. So a very quality win for the Spoofhounds tonight.
John, talk about the Spoofhounds offense a little bit. They were able to put up quite a few touchdowns, some big plays. Talk about their offense and how they've been able to kind of rebound over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, tonight it was pretty simple. I think the Lincoln Prep fans were heckling Maryville that they only ran 2 plays all night. Well, those 2 plays worked and got them 49 points. So they only threw for a little over 30 yards tonight, but they ran for well over 300, had to be. And that was kind of the recipe for success. They fed Connor Weiss and Trey Houchin, who had over 100 yards, and that was really all they needed to do tonight to keep that offense rolling and get the win.
John, looking at what Maryville did tonight against Lincoln Prep, and you go back to the early season whether it was COVID-19 related issues with quarantining or just injuries, you starting to get the feeling this Maryville team's starting to find the identity again, I guess, what this team's going to be now that they probably have most of their guys back at this point after so many issues early on?
I certainly think the coaching staff thinks that by what Coach Webb told me tonight. The biggest complaint they'd had all season was the offensive line was struggling. And tonight they went up against 3 guys in Lincoln Prep's front 7 who are committed to Power 5 schools. And like I said, they ran right through them and really established a dominant ground game behind that offensive line. So I think that's the real part that's really turned around the last few weeks, and it'll be interesting to see. It feels like it's been months since they played an MEC game, but they go to Savannah next week, and that'll be a big and interesting test down there.
And John, just really quickly, just talk about what Maryville needs to do moving forward, coming off of a win like this one tonight. What do they need to do to continue to keep the momentum going and having the success that they had like they did tonight?
I think it goes back to the trenches, and just if they're able to win that, Maryville's never been a team that's wanted to throw the football very much. They run the ball, they get the ball on the outside to Weiss and in the inside to Houchin. So if they can continue to play well up front, it should bode for good things the rest of the season.
John Dykstra, Maryville Forum Sports Editor, thanks for coming on. We're looking forward to that game next week. Maryville, Savannah, both teams coming off Wednesday night. Thanks again, John.
Thank you.
Looking ahead to next weekend away, as of tonight, let's hope this is where it goes here. Central back on the field. Told you that their game against Smithville was canceled. Central scheduled to host Staley next Friday night, and St. Joseph Christian. It's a few 11-man football games left for the Lions, hosting St. Mary's Academy. The Lions heading back to 8-man football next year. Lions had a bye week this week. Central's game, like I said, canceled against Smithville.
Still plenty to come on football tonight, and coming up after the break, it's the Battle of the Buchanans. Undefeated East Buchanan hosting #1 team in the state, Class 1 Mid-Buchanan Dragons. Highlights coming up from Gower later on here.
And also coming up after a loss last week, the Mountain City Panthers looking to bounce back this week against another 275 conference matchup. Stay tuned. You're watching football tonight.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got. Take your best shot.
East Buchanan and Mid Buchanan, 2 schools separated by 15 miles, so the rivalry is already basically built in. Lots of pride between these 2 football programs, and rightfully so. East Buchanan made a state run just a few years ago. Then in 2018, Mid Buchanan knocked them out of district play. Then Dragons won both meetings last year, so plenty to play for tonight, and when both teams enter this one undefeated. Class 1 top-ranked Mid Buchanan visiting Gower and East Buchanan tonight. Dragons 6-0, the Bulldogs 5-0, and ranked 5th in the ranked 7th in the state, excuse me. Here we go. Dragons start with the ball. Rollins Brandt had himself a good game last week and another this week. Brandt around the edge, down the sideline he goes. The junior looking for the end zone, but Drew Thompson makes a touchdown-saving tackle for the Bulldogs. Then it's the QB, Javen Noyes, keeping it himself. Dragons strike first, PAT good. Mid-buck up 7-0 early in the first quarter. This one back and forth and tough defense in the early part of this ball game. Bulldogs with the ball now. Under 5 to play in the first. Connor Mustard down the field to Thompson, and he's gone. Outruns his defender. PAT good on the 56-yard pitch and catch. Bulldogs tie this ball game back up at 7. Mid-buck, though, answers quickly to make it 14-7 Dragons. To the second quarter we go. Dragons marching or flying. Guess who MB goes to? It's a junior. Noyes hits Brandt on a quick throw. He makes one man miss, and it's a foot race to the pylon. Rollins Brandt, have yourself a night. 63-yard touchdown pass from Noyes to Brandt. PAT makes it 21-7. But Brandt's night not over yet. On defense now we go. Bulldogs Thompson sends a man in motion. And Thompson doesn't get much time to drop back because here comes Brandt off the edge. Wraps him up, gets the sack for the Dragons. And then ensuing drive for the Dragons. Ball going back to Brandt, takes it from Noyes, gets a block from TJ Runyon, and he's gone. Brandt again makes it 28-7 second quarter lead for the Dragons. Buchanan stays perfect, wins 49-21 tonight, 7-0 now on the year. So the Dragons 7-0, and the voice of the Dragons, Dave Riggert, here to help break it all down tonight. Another impressive win for Buchanan, wasn't it?
Very impressive, and obviously they played a state-ranked team in East Buck, and you know, a lot of people have kind of questioned the schedule and the teams that they've played up to this point. And again, Lawson's playing pretty good football right now. They've won 4 in a row ever since Buchanan beat them in week 3, but kind of a statement game tonight. I mean, they've played some name teams in Hamilton and Lathrop and Lawson, but they're all kind of struggling this year besides Lawson. So a kind of a statement win against a team that was ranked in the top 10. And man, after kind of a little bit of back and forth, as you mentioned early in the football game, Buchanan just took over. In the first half of the game, they had 408 yards of offense, 42 points. They really had an onslaught late in the second quarter to pull away. And, you know, we talk so much about the yardage totals that they have, the touchdowns that Javen Noyes has. And it's been the defense that has just been lights out. Coach Rumpf has done a great job with that side of the football the last couple of years, and ever since he's been there, obviously. But they've been so good the last couple of years. And, you know, tonight they really set their offense up in good shape, and that's kind of how it all rolls. They play hand in hand. Their offense helps their defense helps their offense. And the last 4 touchdowns that they had tonight, they were all in plus territory, and meaning that they started on East Buchanan's side of the football field. And that was turnover on downs. They had a good series where they had a bad punt, 2 interceptions, all led to touchdowns. And defensively, they gave up 1 big play. That was it. And they gave up only 99 yards to the first team offense by East Buck in the first half. So their defense is playing so well right now. Second team guys gave up a couple of scores late in the football game, but the game had been decided. But a very impressive win, huge numbers. You showed a lot of the Rollins Brandt highlights. And Rollins and Lane Ellison are really starting to become big-time players on the outside and in the run game. They just do so many things for this football team. Lane had 5 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns and almost 150 yards. Rollins had 2 catches for 117 yards and a score, and then a rushing touchdown that he showed as well. So, man, they're getting so many guys involved right now, and it was an impressive win tonight.
Well, I have no more questions for you. You just knocked everything out there. All right, there it is.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
I'm a pro, right?
We even stayed up late to do this one.
That's all right.
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, well, down in Weston tonight, West Platte topping rivals North Platte Panthers. Blue Jays winning 48-20. The Blue Jays move to 4-3 and travel to Hamilton next week, while North Platte falls to 0-7, hosts Lathrop in week 8. Well, down in Lathrop we go. The Mules hosting Lawson Cardinals tonight. Lathrop looking for their first win of the season, and this one was a defensive battle early and often. Cardinals with the ball here. Grant Thomas under center, and this will be a mishandled snap. Bad exchange with the center. Ball is loose, and the Mules are able to recover it. The swing drive and the next play. Nick Knight, the running back, with the throw downfield, but it's intercepted by Thomas. He gets the ball right back for his squad. Now, I told you earlier, this game had a lot of defense, so let's go later into the first. Cardinals driving. Thomas throws the ball down the middle of the field, and this one is picked off. A lot of interceptions. Mason Adwell for the Mules with the interception. Pretty good interception there. In the end, though, Lawson able to pull out the win. Cardinals grabbing the 14-12 victory.
More up the road from Lathrop, Plattsburgh. The Tigers hosting Hamilton tonight. More KCI play till the second quarter. 14-7 Tigers at this point. Hamilton with the ball and driving. Hamilton's Tucker Ross finds Andrew Rich. He's inside the 10, has a little bit of room, makes the man miss, but ball's loose. Plattsburgh recovers the fumble. That's a touchdown-saving play by the Tigers defense. Bend don't break works for the defense that time. With the Hornets, though, coming out strong a little bit later in the second quarter. And guess what? It's on the feet of Sawyer Morrow. He's a really good running back, one of the better running backs in the area, and he gets it right here, gets around the edge, makes a couple guys miss, gets a block. He gets into the end zone. Hamilton with a strong finish to this game gets a 35-14 victory. Grand River Conference games, we go. Princeton takes down Polo tonight by 30, 36-6. Milan falls to South Harrison. That's their first loss this season. South Harrison wins 26-7.
Well, let's head over to Maysville. The Wolverines hosting the Trenton Bulldogs, and this one was a real defensive showdown. Early in the first quarter, Maysville deep in their own territory. Caleb Justice hands it off to Caden Israel and goes on the ground around the outside. That's a first down. A little bit later in the quarter here, Justice, he will drops back, looking to pass, but then it's picked off by Caden Spencer, and he returns it for almost 15 yards on the interception there. Now to the second quarter. Pretty low-scoring ball game here. As you can see, 0-0. Wolverines with the ball, and this time Jake Redmond gets the handoff. He has enough for the first down there. Maysville would go on to win this one tonight, 22-20. Close game there. Over in Gallatin, the Bulldogs beat Putnam County 48-6. Next week, Putnam County hosts Maysville while Gallatin travels to Trenton. And so it'll come on football tonight. Coming off of a loss last week, the Mountain City Panthers looking to bounce back this week in another 275 conference matchup.
Also, Bishop LeBlond back at home taking on Northwest Nottoway. Golden Eagles looking to fly high, build some momentum as the regular season winds down. Highlights coming up next.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got.
Welcome back to football tonight. The Mountain City Panthers held the top spot in the 8-man football media poll for the first 6 weeks of the season, until last week when East Atchison knocked off the defending champs. But make no mistake about it, Mountain City looking for revenge in another 275 conference showdown tonight. A top 10 battle tonight in Graham of two good 8-man football teams. South Holt, Nottoway Holt hosting Mountain City. Spartans start with the football, making quick work on the opening drive. Second play from scrimmage, executed to perfection. Drew Quinlan pitches to Alex Harris. The junior scampers down the right sideline for 6-0 South Holt. Nottoway Holt lead. They get up 6-0 at this point. Now, Mountain City's turn. Not ideal start for the Panthers on this ball game. Connor Durr is stripped by James Herr. No relation to Tommy Herr. The fumble is recovered by Tristan Steiner. The Spartans are in business. Now, what does Quinlan have up his sleeve this time for the Spartans? Fakes the give here on this next play. And then, well, they know what to do. This offense is really good for the Spartans. Quinlan pitches out to Gannon Phelan. He's hooked on a Phelan. Gannon goes airborne into the end zone. You might see that circle back as a play of the week. 12-0 home team at this point. The Panthers aren't going away, though. Durr passing under pressure finds Gage Salisbury, and the senior has some open room to run. He's gone. Salisbury cuts into the Spartan lead. The Holts get the ball back, though. And guess what? Quinlan, he's been good so far in this ballgame tonight, and more fancy pitches from him. Somehow shovels this one to Harris. Harris is trapped up at the 2-yard line. Quinlan then does it himself. Punches it in on a QB sneak on the next play for the Spartans. 20-6 at this point. The Spartans, number 8 team in 8-man football, goes on to win this one 69-24. And here to help break this one down is 8-man football analyst Devin Albertson, and really familiar with Nottoway Holt's side of things with that Spartan co-op. Pretty good win, back and forth for a little while. It looked like just trading punches.
Yeah, a little bit there early on. Mountain City came out in a 4 wide, and if anybody's watched Mountain City the past 20 years, they don't do that a whole lot, so it kind of took the Spartans by surprise. They made some adjustments there in the middle of the second quarter and really shut Mountain City's offense down the rest of the way. And then offensively, the Spartans ran that triple option running and power running game to perfection there. I had them down for about 450 yards rushing today, led by fullback Brody Scroggins had 197 and 3 touchdowns. He was fantastic tonight. And then everyone knows about Drew Quinlan. He only had like 50 yards rushing. We had 4 rushing touchdowns and 1 more passing. He's just a really good player and sets that offense up perfectly.
Devin, talk about Mountain City and what's going on with them a little bit. They've had some issues the last couple of weeks, some injuries, some key players out. Just talk about what they may need to do to kind of get themselves back on the right track there.
Just get healthy at this point. I'm not sure how long the Papa kid's out. He's a really good football player. They missed him tonight, especially on defense. Not sure about their other guys that are going to get him back or not, but I think the staff did an okay job today getting their kids in a position to be successful when they could, spreading the Spartans out a little bit and trying to attack them that way. I thought their quarterback, Connor Durr, looked pretty good tonight in spots and something to build on. They've only had that offense for a week now, as I said. They kind of just threw something together to try to get something going. They got 2 weeks left regular season. They kind of got things figured out a little bit, but I still think they're a really good football team. They're just trying to figure some things out right now, and they just played 2 good teams the past 2 weeks, and if you're banged up, it's tough to win those games.
Devin, about 15 seconds here. Overall thoughts here from week number 7 of 8-man football.
Big win for Stanberry going to Shelbyville and beating North Shelby by 2 in overtime. North Angel escaped with a 4-point win versus Albany. Playoffs are going to be a blast this year. 8 teams can definitely win a state title. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Devin Albertson, 8-man football. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
Always a pleasure. All right, well, sticking with 8-man football, Stewartsville Osborne hosting East Atchison tonight in Stewartsville. East Atchison started with the ball here with the momentum. Senior tight end Ian Headland leading the charge there. Wildcards able to keep the Wolves at bay, though. Kane Rush with an interception off of quarterback Josh Smith. However, wasn't enough with the Wolves striking first in the second quarter. East Atchison, Smith able to connect with sophomore running back Braden Graves there on that play. And then a little bit later here, the Wildcards down 12-0. Keaton Martins breaks through the Wolves defense. And this will be a huge play here, 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Wolves too much tonight, though, getting the win 52-6. And then taking a look at North Andrew as they played Albany. Cardinals, as Devin said earlier, edged out Albany 50-46.
Pattonsburg had to find a makeup game after Worth County unable to go tonight. They fall to East Mills out of Iowa tonight, 63-14. King City gets a shutout victory tonight, 52-0. And as Devin said, a spoiler for Stanberry. Number 7 Stanberry on the road at number 3 North Shelby, forced to punt early. North Shelby able to quick on the coverage, and Cale Stoneburner recovers the fumble. North Shelby in business for the Raiders with 2 different fake handoffs. Stoneburner fools both Stanberry and the cameraman as he takes the ball far side for the Raiders score. And Bulldog quarterback trying to get something going. Austin Schubach drops back, throwing deep, and guess what? Cale Stoneburner having himself a night for the Raiders at this point. A little bit later on, North Shelby driving. Carson Orr takes the handoff, bumps, and play to the outside. North Shelby, their second score of the game. But Stanberry comes back in this ball game tonight in overtime with a 36-34 victory.
Exciting game for that one. Well, still to come on football tonight, Bishop LeBlond back at home tonight, taking on Northwest Nottoway Golden Eagles, trying to build momentum as the regular season winds down. Highlights still coming up.
And a couple of old Platte Valley Conference foes. DeKalb hosting Platte Valley, or South Nottoway and Jefferson as it used to be. Tonight, it's homecoming. Can the Tigers come away with the win? Stay tuned.
Give it all you got. Take your best shot. Give it all you got. Take your best shot.
All right, welcome back. Despite being 0-5 on the season, the DeKalb Tigers battled it out on homecoming night, taking on opposing team Platte Valley. Let's get to these highlights. Took some time to get the ball rolling, but not to worry here. It will be Xander Matson who will have the ball here, and he will punch it in for the first points of the night for the DeKalb Tigers. Nice run there. Next score comes from Platte Valley, who went back and forth with the Tigers all night. Little rollout pass here, and that's a good catch and throw. 14 all there in the first half. Quarterback for Platte Valley with a nice throw. Now here we go, 14 all. Tigers trying to do some good things here, and that's that's a big play for DeKalb, getting the ball back immediately on the next play here. It'll be DeKalb's quarterback, takes it to the house, gives the homecoming crowd something to cheer about at halftime. Why not? But despite the back-and-forth game, Platte Valley takes away DCAP's first win of the season. Goes on to win a barn burner tonight. Final score 52-50. And a top 10 score here, number 9, Archie defeats Appleton City 64-6.
Let's head over to Bishop. LeBlond Golden Eagles hosting Northwest Nottoway on homecoming. Here we go. LeBlond looking for a second consecutive victory late in the first. Landon Gardner and a shotgun fires out to his receiver on the out route. Cuts to the sideline, avoiding 2 tackles. Gets into the end zone. 2-point conversion good. LeBlond scores first at 8-0. Moving to the second quarter now. LeBlond with the ball again. Gardner takes snap. Connects again with his receiver, and he will not be touched. Gets into the end zone for another touchdown. LeBlond up 14-0 at this point. On homecoming night, the Muskets, though, looking to get something going. Carson Oberhauser hands it off to Michael Goff, and he cuts up the middle. He's like a human pinball machine at this point, bouncing off tackles before being brought down. Why do I say the things I say? Oberhauser then in the shotgun with the quarterback keeper looking to the outside and cuts back up the middle and is brought down for the touchdown. Muskets trail 14-6. Bishop LeBlond runs away with this one, though, 36-14. Kansas scores to give you as well tonight. Valley Heights defeats Troy 80-7. Riverside shuts out Atchison County 22-0. And you voted all week long for the Anderson Auto Group Play of the Week. Here it is for you this week. It comes from Savannah. You guys voted. Savannah wins it with Ethan Dudek to Truman Bodenhausen from the play right here from last week in their victory over Cameron. Makes the catch. Gets all the way down to the 1-yard line. Thanks for voting for the Anderson Auto Group Play of the Week. Adam, final thoughts before we go.
Yeah, I was impressed with Midbuck in that East Buchanan showdown. Midbuck flexing their muscles, and they looked pretty good.
Another great week of football, week 7 in the books. Hopefully we get Central back next week, Central Christian. They're coming off a bye week, so a lot of football to look forward to next week. But that will do it for week 7. We still have a few more weeks till district play, but thank you for tuning in tonight to Football Night, staying up late with us. We'll be back next week at 10:35. Have a good night.